Out, the players thought they'd already won and had cleared the bench and were on the floor during play. The Cougars ended up falling to the Ducks 91-89 in double overtime. Now moving ahead to the Cougars' road trip to Arizona, the team was able to pull out one win as D'Angelo Casto beat the buzzer against U of A, but didn't quite have the same luck as they were pummeled by ASU the following game. Returning for a homestand versus Cal and Stanford, WSU got off to a poor start. Against Cal, the Cougars started off slow, falling behind by 18 points. But they were able to climb back within 5 points of the lead, but just couldn't overcome the Bears. They ended up losing that one 93-88. Now the team did bounce back with a 77-73 win over Stanford, though before they headed down to Southern California for the matchup with USC and UCLA. The Cougars ended up splitting this road trip, beating USC 67-60, but they ended up losing to UCLA 74-62.
Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We got some quality PSAs for you, but when we come back, Coach Ken Bowman addresses the media about his team. Please don't touch the remote. I swear this is going to be awesome.
Dimes are shiny and round. Nickels are also round. Dollars are not round. Dollars are rectangles. What can I buy with 2 rectangles?
A bus ride.
You're right. Good job, honey. You're so
When you talk with your child, you build vocabulary, and learning starts long before school does. For more tips, go to bornlearning.org.
Here comes the rain. We need a hat. And why do we need a hat?
To say John.
When you talk with your child, you build vocabulary, and learning starts long before school does. For more tips, go to bornlearning.org.
Tick, tick, massive heat wave. Tick, 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 tick. Devastating hurricane. Tick, tick, tick.
Our future is up to you.
Tick.
Welcome back to Inside the Lines. I'm Michael Preston.
And I'm Michelle Ledka.
And dollars still aren't round. Camera 2. Well, the Cougar men's basketball team looks to bounce back from their loss against UW with a homestand versus the Arizona Schools. There we are. I love it. The Cougs open the second half of Pac-10 play against Arizona State tomorrow night at 7 p.m. They struggled mightily on the offensive end in their first go-around, with the Sun Devils shooting only 29% from the field and losing by 24 points. Well, they had better luck against the Arizona Wildcats, winning in spectacular fashion with a Reggie Moore to D'Angelo Casto buzzer beater. We were about to catch up with Coach Bowman at his weekly teleconference on Tuesday. Take a look at what he had to say about his team.
When you get out of balance offensively, has that been something that you guys have had to fight at times? You know, over penetration, guys not rotating back, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, what happens there is Reggie, we've encouraged him to penetrate. And when he penetrates, it's a good thing because he's so good at it, and he can score and he can find people with passes. On the other hand, we need to do a good job of rotating back and having somebody else get back on defense. You know, just like the question on rebounding, it all works together.
Yeah.
It's hard to get the best of both worlds sometimes unless you're just extremely talented and you have great depth. And hopefully in the future that's where we will be. Right now, I don't think we're at that point.
Back to Clay real quick. Do you think his, we've talked about the shots he gets, but even some of his open shots he hasn't been putting down recently like he did earlier in the year. Is this a mechanical thing? Is it mental? You talked a little bit about him being down on himself a little bit. Is this something that maybe he needs to shoot, 500 shots a day for the next week to get back into a groove, or how are you addressing that?
Well, there's a lot of theories, and I think in his case, he's such a great shooter. I don't think it's his technique. I think his technique is fine. We want to make sure he has fresh legs. We don't want to create a situation where, okay, let's say 1,000 shots a day or 2,000. That doesn't automatically mean you become a better shooter. You might become a better shooter during that period of time, but if you have to go out and play in a game and now your legs are fatigued from shooting so many shots, then it kind of defeats the purpose there. So we're trying to get him to where he's getting better looks at the hoop, And even though he's had some good looks and hasn't put them down, he needs to hit a few. And I think once he gets his confidence back, he'll be fine. Right now, it just seems like he's, the only thing I can put my thumb on is the fact that maybe he's not as confident, because his technique is great. His shot looks good. It's just not falling like it was earlier in the year.
Time for one more question. Marcus Capers, he really did a great job against Nick Wise the last time you saw Arizona.
Yeah, Marcus has the ability to be a really good defender. He has good quickness, good length. He understands the game well. And there's been times where he's done an outstanding job on the defensive end. Guarding Nick was one situation, and he's had a couple other games like that where he's just done a super job.
Any more questions?
Yeah. Looking forward to the matchup with ASU. How do you guys look to attack that matchup zone that's given everyone in the nation trouble?
They do a great job with their matchup, and their rotations are really precise. They're quick. They get a hand up on shots. I think the key is going to be keep the ball moving, keep ourselves moving, and be patient for a good shot. If we can do those three things, I think we give ourselves a chance to have some success. If you break down in one of those three areas, it's pretty hard to beat that matchup. It's been really good against, like you said, most everybody.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmer Fredette scored 49 on Arizona, and then they held him to like 2 of 10 shooting or something like that. ASU did, so
yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty stingy defense.
It is. It's a great defense. They are very confident playing it, and they should be. It's good.
Great last question on that teleconference. For those of you who don't know, that was our producer, Gavin Harris.
Ooh.
Anyway, before losing the heartbreaker to the Huskies at home last weekend, the women's team took on USC and UCLA. While the Cougs played well in both games, they just couldn't seem to pull either of them out at the end of the game. The final score versus the Trojans, 61-51, and the loss to the Bruins was a real tight one, 59-56.
That was a heartbreaker of a game, too, I remember. Ooh, baby. But now, up to campus, Jen Hollenbeck. Students, Super Bowl picks.
I'm Jen, and I'm getting people's predictions for the Super Bowl this year. So who do you think will be winning the Super Bowl this year?
I think I'm going to have to go with the Saints. There's no particular reason, but I think they play a really exciting game. They're really fast-paced, and they score a lot of points, and the Colts are kind of boring. So I'll go with the Saints. It'd be good to see. And plus, from Hurricane Katrina and everything, it'd be kind of neat for the city, I think, if they won the Super Bowl.
Well, I think it's going to be the Colts, obviously, because Peyton Manning's just on fire all the way through the playoffs. I don't think Drew Brees stands a chance. And, people are saying, oh, Reggie Bush is going to be, explosive on the game. I'm like, Reggie Bush hasn't done anything this season. So what's all this talk about Reggie Bush?
I'm betting serious money on the Colts, but I believe in the Saints. They got the story.
Okay.
Well, about 6 weeks ago, I would have said Saints, without a doubt. But then they lose to Dallas, and I'm like, I'm not sure. But now Dwight Freeney's hurt, so it's about a toss-up. But I just, at the end of the day, got to give it to Peyton Manning. I go Colts.
Well, you can only count on 4 things in life. That's death, taxes, Peyton Manning, and, the Saints not winning a Super Bowl. They talk about their destiny like they're going to win. I'm going to go with history. The Saints being one of the most miserable franchises since they came into the league, wearing paper bags over their head like they're a girl with a cleft palate, and it just doesn't mean anything. I'm going to go history. I'm going to go Colts and Peyton Manning.
Ooh, tough question. I'm going to have to go with America's team, and I'm not talking about the Cowboys, the Saints, because they have a running game, opportunistic defense, and they got America behind them, and what's better than that? Also, Peyton Manning, he's a beast. He's savage, but they have no run game. So I'm going to have to go with the Saints, Reggie Bush, Pierre Thomas, Jeremy Shockey, Drew Brees, and a nice defense. We're going with the Saints. They're going to win by 10. Woo!
All right, that's all the time we have. So back to you, Mike and Michelle.
Win the Saints. Go marching in. You know who else marched in? The Cougar swim team marched right into Gibb Pool on Friday night, hosted their only home meet of the Pac-10 season against Oregon State. Unfortunately, Cougars couldn't pull out the victory in front of the home crowd, losing 135.5 to 126.5. The Cougar swim team is 2-3 in the season, not including a first-place finish at the Debbie Pfeiffer Memorial Invitational they hosted back in October.